All right, good, man. All right, guys. So listen, I got we'll rock this for like 15, 20 minutes because I just got some structured training that I'm going to give you guys. And there's some tips on some of the things we talked about last time so that you guys can take a few of these things and just implement into your management style. I know like Walter, Pablo, we're building our teams, we're building our understanding. A lot of the times as a manager, like we were high performing salespeople, we're doing really good and they see something in us. And then like now you have to learn how to produce and then manage and then like produce and manage and like, right. Like it can be kind of a challenge and it's a new mentality that you're really creating. So, I want to congratulate you guys, number one, because for you guys to be doing that, like not a lot of people want to do that. A lot of people just want to take care of themselves. And that's why they never really get to anywhere really big. So I know that you guys are focusing on a lot of stuff and you guys are integrating a lot of stuff and you guys are trying to build something really, truly amazing. So I appreciate you guys sharing all the stuff that you guys shared with me last time. And I've got a couple of things that I'm going to work on with you guys just to help you. And some of them you might be doing better or you might be doing now, but I want you to think about the word optimization because no matter what you're doing now, there's another level of it. And there's another level of optimizing it. So even as I'm talking, you're like, Ian, we do that. All right, I want you to think about one thing. How do we do it better? Because if you can do a couple of these things just a little bit better, it'll make all of the difference. And a lot of these are learned skills. A lot of these are sometimes common sense. Sometimes they're kind of easy. Sometimes as a new manager, as a new leader, we're going through the motions of trying to sell, do all of our things, motivate the team, do all of this stuff. And then we forget like a couple of these little things that change everything. And so one of these things that I'm telling you today, it might be the one little spark that your team needs. It might be one little thing that separates you from everybody. It might be the one little area that you need to focus on, or it might be something that you just need to optimize. So as a leader, the word optimization is really important to me because I see a lot of people have meetings, but they're not going anywhere. They don't have an agenda for what they're really trying to do. So it doesn't get as far. It's not as impactful as fast, right? So today we're going to focus on the sales training portion. So we're focusing on sales training. And in your book, you have a page that's like page number 30 that gives you the types of training that we do. It gives you some of the things that we do to really push our team. And so I want you to think about, I know you guys do sales training and I know you guys do it. I think it was twice a week, right?
Give me 1 sec. Yeah, you guys, everybody has we don't have the book here.
It's okay. You don't need it.
But if you don't have the book, I see Noel has the book. We had to, sorry to cut you off. This meeting you guys have in your calendar. We had to be here. This is actually Vio and I mistake that we came here. However, page 30, let's all review it today. If you don't have the book handy. All right. But yes, we do meeting. Go ahead, brother.
So this type of training is massively important because guys, and some of the stuff you're going to want to write down and just like brainwash yourself on it because we're not in the solar business. We're in the people business. And a lot of people think they're in the solar business, but they're in the people business. When I got into the Elliott Group, I thought I was in a sales training company, but then I was really in a leadership company, right? It's like, I'm talking to a guy that, he's in a software sales position, but really he's in data collection. It's like sometimes you get in these businesses and you look at the business and it's completely different than what you thought it would be. So as a solar sales manager, a lot of people are like, hey, my job is to produce revenue. No, your job is to produce breakthroughs in your team, breakthroughs. And if you produce breakthroughs in them, and I'm going to show you how you do that through sales training, well, then your team grows and it becomes revenue. Any business that I get in, it's like I go to get in it and it's something almost different than what it appears to be. Like any business, like it's like, you're like, that's not really that is what we do, but that's not what we do. So for this, yeah, we're in a team building business. We're in a culture building business, but we're in providing breakthroughs to people business. And that's what this meeting is going to be about is I know you guys have sales training and you guys do sales training. It looks like twice a week. Is that right?
So we do Tuesday, just to break it down, Tuesday, we do a meeting, a little bit of training, and then we do one-on-one. And then Thursday, our really hardcore training that we took like 2 hours doing training.
Okay.
Role plays, you name it.
Where do all the people go on Monday when there's not training? What happens then? They just go to turf or where do they go?
Go to the field or straight to the field. The rest of the day is straight to the field, or if they have appointment, they're home appointments.
How do they start the day out?
As you know, everybody's different, right? And usually, in solar, well, remember, there's the closer and there's the setter,
Yep.
right? So setter, they usually start the day around 11, right? They knock door from 11:30 to like 3. They probably eat something like around 3:30, come back like a 4, because after 4 or 4:30 is prime time, as we all know.
Okay.
And then you shut up like around 8. And if you're a closer, you're driving around all the time.
Okay.
And what we want to build is, when we do, like I told you, we're building the setter team. We're gonna have basically every single day a 20-30 minutes meeting, so we know they come to the office, and then after that they go straight to the field. It's just closer, like Dion says, it's different.
It's driving and driving.
Perfect. Okay. All right. So what I want you guys to write this down, and this is how we do every day, is number one, the manager, the leader, is the person that establishes the rhythm for the company. And for us, that's every day. So I know you guys are going into that process. And what I was going to tell you guys to do, like Walter has like the team that's coming in at a certain time. He's got a couple different people. Noel's got a couple different people. So the process isn't totally like unified right now. And it sounds like it's going towards that. But I want you to think of your business, not my business, not JP's, just like yours. Like you guys, like in football, there's the head coach of the program, and then there's all these assistant coaches. But that assistant coach is in charge of the line. He's in charge of his own program. Now he runs it based on what the coach wants to run, but he has to know what's going on with his guys. So the person that's setting the rhythm for the team, they're typically going to have the best team. Now let me explain. The rhythm of the company starts before they go out onto turf. So if Walter's team is nationwide or something, then Walter has to figure out, hey man, how do I put something in front of them where I can motivate them before they go out, before I can give them the game plan before they go out. And you're like, every day, Ian? Every day. We have a meeting at 8:15 every single day, and it's on the strategy. So listen, the strategy could be just as simple as this. Guys, hey, it's Walter. I know we're all in different locations, but today we're going to focus on one word. I want everybody in the group chat after this to type this word so I know that you saw this. And it's going to be this: connection. I want you guys to focus on this one thing today: connecting with clients at a deeper level. Don't sell them, serve them. Today is all about connection. You guys could pick these little words and have these as words for your week, for your day, something that when they're with customers, it's the pace of their day. It's the rhythm of their day. Has anybody seen Deion Sanders from the CU football team? He has these words, and for the month, it's like, it's personal. So like when they're going to play a football team, he's like, it's personal. It's personal. And they're walking around saying it's personal. It's personal. We're the same way on the doors. We're the same way on the phones. And it doesn't have to be massively aggressive. It could be something that just triggers your team to remember what this week is about. Every day is about optimizing the results, but every day is about reminding them the vision. And the hardest thing as a leader is because you have all these different things going on, you could get caught up in the weeds. You have to reset them every day. And it's kind of hard because you're like, oh man, it's Tuesday. I'm no, dude, listen, every day when you wake up, you have to think about, hey, if I have a meeting every day with them, what am I going to train them on every day? Okay, what is going to be my word of the week? What is going to be my word of the day? What is that going to look like for me? Now, the most important person in anything, like Walter might be like more of a visionary person, but Pablo is more of the integrator. Like that guy is the guy that likes to do the planning and get things done. I don't know how your individual teams work. I know Walter and Pablo work together on that. I know JP and Dion, like they offset each other in a certain way. I know Noelle and Steven, I know they do something together. So maybe one of you picks the role of like, hey, I'm going to choose the topic of the sales meeting every day or whenever your sales meetings are. But you don't want to go into a sales meeting and just do a lecture. You don't want to go in there and just talk about vision. You don't want to just go in there and talk about something. In your book on page 30, it talks about role play. Okay, so let me go over that. The rhythm of the company today, if we're going to say, hey, it's all about connection, well, the little things, guys, that Walter is good at, he doesn't realize that probably a lot of people that are next to him are not good at. Like Walter, it's crazy. I think people know a lot of the basic things like shaking a hand. They don't. Nowadays, they don't know how to shake a fucking hand. Nowadays, you have to teach them how to have eye contact. And that might sound small, but that eye contact on one sale is $5,000, is 10 grand, is whatever it is. So your meeting might be for the week one thing. Hey, we are going to shake the hand the best out of any team. If JP and Dion walk into this office, we will have the best handshake out of everybody. You don't, and write this down, you don't got to be great in all of the biggest areas. You need to be great at all of the little things. The little things. The little things are the big things. You don't go sell 10,000 solar panels. What you do is you learn how to shake a hand better than every other team. What you do is you say, hey guys, we're going to focus. I notice our team has low energy. We're going to focus on staying accountable to the gym and eating right. If we can do that for a month, we'll naturally sell more. And when you guys see the result of that, then it'll become a lifestyle. It'll become a culture. So we're looking at the rhythm of the company. What keeps you guys in rhythm? What keeps you guys focused? It's every day getting that message from the leader. It's every day getting that direction from the leader. And listen, it sounds crazy, but it's like some people can go months or days or weeks without talking to their team or sending them one of these things. You might have just your little group text where you're saying, hey, keyword is, what is it, guys? It's connection. Today, I want you to focus on connection. Today, every hand you shake, eye contact. Today, when you walk up to the door, you before you even shake a hand, you put your hand over your chest, and we're going to do that one video in the training system, and we're going to master one video. Training isn't about all of these 90 areas and all of these 100 areas. I would train on handshake, eye contact for a week till listen, and if I'm Pablo, I'd say, hey, listen, guys, this is our number one thing that we practice in our team. We don't practice to get it right. We practice so we can't get it wrong. What does that mean? We're gonna go over that. That's gonna be like our saying. Whatever your saying is, that's our saying. I would say, hey, listen, we don't practice so we can get it right. Everybody can get it right one or two times. We're practicing so we can't get it wrong. Did you guys see the Dallas Mavericks game yesterday? I watched it. I don't watch sports that often, but I watched the playoffs.
I don't have that time, brother. I love you.
No.
I know they won.
Let me tell the high performers like JP what happened, because I know he had bigger shit to do. Us broke people are watching sports and shit, okay? So, but this Luka Doncic came out and he hit 20 points in 8 minutes. Like, to start the game, he set the pace. And that to me was like a lot about leadership. You come out, you set the pace, and it has to be every day. Whether you got it or not, bro, how many times do you not have it, but you have to go do it? And it starts to become a learned skill. It starts to become easier. The team starts to become better. But there's a lot of companies that they're not setting the rhythm out of the gate with the role play. With, hey, man, listen, I have a guy named Joey here. He's an auto dealership. He's in the Brotherhood. You guys, JP knows him. But he goes, man, I fell asleep for 2 years on this shit. Now when I walk into the meeting, they know I'm going to record them handling an objection. And I record them handling one objection before they can leave the room. I told him to do that, but he's been doing it for like 5 months. He's doubled his results, but also the team they expect to get recorded. They expect to have to handle an objection in front of people. When you're doing that, guys, let me tell you what happens. People have a fear of embarrassment. They don't want to get embarrassed. So what are they going to do at nighttime? They're going to study so they don't get embarrassed. They might not study to make more money, guys. They might not study for a lot of different reasons, but a lot of people will study so they don't get embarrassed in front of other people. And by the way, Pablo has to be such a good leader. As they're getting embarrassed, he can say, hey, whoa, listen. Hey, listen, nobody loses in this room. We create a culture that it doesn't matter how it happens in the room. It doesn't matter. Your goal is to get better. Your goal is and I would stop the meeting. I'd say, hey, whether you can handle it or not, it doesn't matter. And as you go, they won't get embarrassed. As you go, they'll start to be kind of robotic with it. But I want you to write these 3 words down for training under role play. And I want you to coach these words. And I want you to be very specific how you coach these words. Okay, when I'm role playing and I give them a word track, does a word track work, guys? Yeah, kind of. But it doesn't work if you don't have soul. It doesn't work if you don't have heart. It doesn't work if you don't have energy. It doesn't work if you don't have passion. All right, you guys should be able to say that every time. Hey, we do word tracks, but they don't work if you don't have the gas in the engine. It's like driving a car with no gas. It doesn't work. So we must have soul. We must have passion. We must have enthusiasm. We must have energy. We must have belief. If you don't have any of those, or the customer sees that, then it doesn't matter. So JP, if you see somebody practicing and they're like this, hey, I got to think about it. Oh, of course you need to think about it. Here's a word track in car sales. I haven't given you enough information not to think about it. What I like to do is give you a quick 5-minute proposal of all the facts and figures. But most little weenies, they say it like this, or scared. They're like, oh, of course you need to think about it. You're like, hey, bro, stop. Hey, I love you. Hey, we got to reset. We practice like we play. We practice like we play. We practice so that it makes permanent. Practice doesn't make perfect because you're never going to get it perfect. We practice so it can be permanent. And get used to telling them these little word tracks that I'm telling you. So you should write that down. Walter and JP, or Walter and Pablo should be like, hey, we practice so it makes permanent. We practice, you don't practice for perfect. You're never going to get it perfect, but it will be permanent. You'll learn this. It'll be inside of your DNA. It'll be inside of who you are. Watch, in fucking 2 months, you're going to have to brainwash them, Pablo. You're going to have to say, in 2 months of us doing this, you're going to be unstoppable, bro. But listen, a lot of people, they're going to give up. They're going to shortcut it. They're not going to practice it at night. When you walk in, I'll know if you're practicing. I'll know. The whole world will know. They'll know if you're practicing. They'll know if you're practicing your belief. And by the way, how do you gain more belief, Pablo? Practice. How do you gain more energy? Practice. Because when you don't have a lot of energy, do you know why? It's because you're overthinking shit and you're in your head and then your energy goes low. Your energy goes up the harder you work, actually, when you're working on the right things. If I get paid more money, my energy goes up because I'm like, hey, it's possible. So if you want more energy, you're going to have to earn it right here. Confidence, earning. Okay. So, but I want you to write these 3 words down. I said those 3 words, but I talked about passion. That was a little bit different. That's a component. That's a component to word tracks. That's a component to it. But these 3 things are massively important. And I want you to really watch how you deliver this. Internalize, memorize, customize. Internalize, memorize, customize. Now, Pablo, you go up to a team member and you say, hey, I want you can internalize, memorize, and you can customize these word tracks to fit however you want. Here's what a guy that doesn't understand goes and does. He doesn't memorize the word track enough to understand it enough to be able to customize it and make it his own to where it flows. If I walk up to your door and I use a word track and it's rehearsed, you can tell. But if I'm a pro and I've learned it so good, I can make my words flow and I can make the charisma come out and I can make it flow. But if they can't memorize a word track, then their brains can't flow really well and they won't have confidence. So when a customer hits them, they don't know what to say. They get demoralized. They go to these doors. All right. On a blitz, I know we're going to knock hundreds of doors, but if the guys get better, they can optimize and not knock as many doors. Now, do I want to tell them that? No, not necessarily. But I know if my team gets better at the word tracks, that they honestly will get better at knocking the doors and making more of an impact. And that leverage that they'll earn, there's a little thing called like a leverage bank account. Because they get better, they can leverage that little bank account and they start being able to walk in there and it's like they're just making things look easy when really it used to be hard. So we want to sit with them, Pablo, and we want to say, all right, guys, this is the word track we're working on for this week. It's 1 word track. We're going to work on passion, enthusiasm, energy, belief, eye contact, body language, where are your hands at? How much fun do you look like you're having? What's your smile look like? These are called micro skills. Micro skills. Walter, I'm going to tell them, hey, we work on the micro skills. A micro skill is this, Walter. My hands are out. My eyes are alive. I'm nodding. I'm engaged. I don't look like I'm thinking about what to say. I don't look like while you're talking, I can't wait to talk. Like these are all micro skills that we're working on in our training, And then when we talk to them, Walter, if they're like this, all right, Kobe, stand up. If we're training and the guy's like, I walk up to Kobe, we'll say Kobe is my training partner, but also I'm going to be the salesman. If I walk up and I'm like, and this is happening in training, I'm like, hey man, nice to meet you. I'm with Bella Solar. We were just in the area and that whole deal, right? But if my hand's in my pocket, Walter needs to come up and go, hey bro, micro skills. Pull your hands out. Pull your hands out. You need, hey, do that again. Now try it again. How do you feel? And then have him do it again. And then he's like, he's not looking at me. Then you got to be like, hey man, listen, I saw your eye contact was off. That's a coach. That's what we are. So number 2, remember there was number 1, number 2, there was a couple of things we just talked about. We talked about passion, energy, enthusiasm, and the micro skills, your hands being alive. That all has to occur in role play. Role play isn't just, hey, what's up? How are you doing? Hey, that's not role play. Role play is like, hey, get your energy right. Hey, set the pace. Now, Walter, in our trainings, you might not have everybody in the room go. you know, you might have 3 people go, you know, because you might not want to do it for an hour. You might want to do it for 15 minutes, which is in the book. You might do it for 15 minutes and say, hey, I'm going to pick 3 people. Hey, you. And sometimes I'm picking the guy that looks the most asleep. I'm picking the guy that, like, I know he doesn't want to get called on, because that's coaching. Coaching is this. You can write this down. Getting a result out of somebody that they didn't know they could get out of themselves. Getting a result out of somebody that they didn't know that they can get themselves. So we're building a $100 million business, a $1 billion business. We got to get good at the micro skills. They got to see them from us. If JP walks in the room and he's training and his hands are in his pockets, then they start thinking that they can do whatever JP does. They start thinking they can do whatever Walter does. So when Walter walks in, he's fun and games when he walks from the training room, from the lot onto the training room. But when he gets in the training room, hey, there's an agenda. We know we're going to do a motivational talk for 10 minutes. We're going to talk about a couple success stories, which is in the book. So my meeting agenda looks like this, Walter. Hey, guys, here's the agenda for today. We're going to talk about a couple stories. Bobby closed 3 deals. Everybody give it up for Bobby. Bobby, tell us 2 things. Hey, I want you to do it in 45 seconds. Make sure you give people timelines if you're going to call on them. Hey, Bobby, 45 seconds. I want you to tell me what happened in that conversation. Well, I did this good. I did this good. I did this good. How do our customers feel? How do our customers feel? Oh, our customers felt great. Tell me more about how our customers feel. Listen, if you want to get more belief in your product and more belief in your people, they need to hear success stories of not what we made, but what the customers felt. And like, you know, maybe that's JP calling the customer 3 months after the thing, going over there with a bouquet of flowers and saying, hey, thanks for being our customer. Wanted to see how everything's going. And maybe that's an integrator that you say, hey, listen, we're going to have somebody go back behind some of these accounts and just get some success stories so we can bring them to our team. All right, here's what happens. When I do that and I feed them a success story, their belief goes up. Their belief goes up. They don't think that we're just selling people shit. They're like, oh man, this is great. And then you know what they do? Guys, they fight to be the next success story. They fight to be the next success story. So we want them fighting to be the next success story. We're building one of the most amazing companies out there. We want everybody to know it while they're with us. And by the way, if they leave us, they'll never find this again. So it's important right now that when we do these things, we're also showing them that if they leave, when they go to talk about Velez, they talk about like all this fucking crazy shit we do, because nobody's going to do this shit, guys. You guys know that, right?
No.
Like the coolest thing about going on this path is I got 4 texts this weekend of people that took Army and they created their own little sales training company. And it's like, I can't remember what. Here, I'll show you one of them. Just so you know I'm not bullshit. Check this out, guys. But this is, and I want to tell you guys, this is your company too. They're going to bite your style. Watch this. They're going to bite your style. They're going to try to act like they're you. Like light Army. And they're wearing the clothes like us and all the shit. They're trying to do their energy like us. Here's the thing, guys. They think it's just about all of these big things we do. It's these little interactions. It's these little customer testimonials and meetings. It's these little cadences about the way we look. It's the little cadences about talking about how we treat a customer. Hey, in that role play, I noticed it didn't really seem like you were treating the customer great. And I'm going to call somebody out on that, Walter. I'm going to say, hey, our number one thing is customer service. We really give a shit. We're not like everybody else. Okay. So remember, if you're out there and you're just only after your intentions, you're never going to get paid. So you need to actually be on fire with them. You need to actually be listening to them. When you're talking to them, I need you to like bring a little bit more out of yourself. Okay. Because that's important to what we're creating. Now, the people that are going to try to come out behind you guys, what they're going to realize is it's way too hard for them. And they ain't going to stay there for that long. You know how many people copy us and then they're out of business in 3 months, 4 months, 6 months? These people will be out of business in no time.
Campaign.
I don't know them. Maybe they're good people. I'm not. Hey, also, I like to inspire people too. So the fact that they're doing something similar to me, I love it. People are like, you should get mad about that. I'm like, dude, you're so dumb. Listen, if they can attempt to do anything that we're doing, then they're helping people. I'm cool with it. I don't really care. But it's going to be really hard to duplicate anything that we're doing because this is so dialed in. So, all right. So you have a couple things, but internalize when you're delivering that. Here's what you're telling them. Hey, you're going to internalize this objection. When I hit you with it, you're going to know it. Within a week, because we're going to practice this every day, you're going to know it. Then you're going to memorize it. And then you're going to customize it. So, like when you're on a car lot, you say, hey, they're outside and these customers always say, I need to think about it. Like probably 90% of the time. Would you say, Kobe?
Yeah.
Okay. So
95.
when I'm outside, 80% of salespeople can't handle that one objection. It's just meant to advance the sale inside the doors so that we can have a manager sit with them, a closer, and then their ass closes 50% of the time. Check this out, bro. Automotive stores would 4 times their business if they could just handle that one objection, but they can't. They can't. Like there's like 4 teams in the country that can. Okay. So when I'm sitting with Kobe and I say, hey, this is how this objection works, and you have to know it, Kobe, hit me with the objection. I got to think about it. You're outside on the line.
Hey, thanks, Ian, but I have to think about it.
Okay, so I'm going to say, here's internalize. I know the here's memorize. I know the objection. Of course, you need to think about it. I haven't given you enough information not to think about it. What I like to do is give you all the facts and figures. That way, when you go home tonight, you truly have something to think about. Would that be fair? Could I do that for you? Yes. Okay, that's the objection. So when I sit with the salesperson, I could say, here's the objection, right? But here's when I memorize it, here's how I can customize it. Hit me again. Now watch how I customize it. And this is how I teach them. So I'm not like, and I tell them, Walter, loser salespeople, they go right to customizing. They go right to making it their own. They go right to thinking that they're better than the system. You don't want to do that. You want to customize it once you know it. All right, hit me with the objection.
Hey, Ian, thanks, man, but I got to think about it.
So I'm going to say, here's how we practice. Stand up. And I'm going to say, okay, man. So I'm with him. He says, hey, I need to think about it. I'm like, hey, man, of course you need to think about it. Hey, number one, I just want to tell you, thank you for coming in. It really means a lot to us. We're really thankful for you being here. So no matter what you're going to do, thank you. I appreciate that. Okay. Yeah. That's how I would do it. And then I'd say, but if you went home today, you wouldn't even have something to really think about because you wouldn't even know where we stand on the car. Now, most salespeople are going to say, did you like the car? Fuck that, dude. I'm going to say, bro, I know you love the car. I saw how you drove the car. But listen, you don't really have much to think about. You're going to go home with your wife, and we want you to at least have the figures so that way when your wife asks, you know where you stand, right? And then he's like, yeah. And I'm like, perfect. Come inside with me. I got you. It'll only take 2 minutes. And then I go inside, and I could get 100 for 100 customers to say yes right there. Why? Because it's common sense.
It is.
It's common sense. It's not even that hard. But most salespeople, they get deflated. They don't understand. They get confused. They get sad. And then they lower their state. Walter, when you're coaching them, I want you to write down, don't lower your state ever, ever. So if they hit you with an objection, you're not going to be like, oh, my God, an objection. You're going to teach them this, Walter. You're going to say your relationship with an objection is going to be the determining factor of how far you go in this business. So let me explain. If you look triggered, upset, questioning yourself, you're going to have to work 4 times harder to make the same amount of money. But if you can welcome that objection and act like it's no big deal, and you can progress the sale forward into their kitchen, sitting down, you can progress a deal to an appointment. Okay, then you're going to get paid. You understand that you can get paid ungodly amounts of money, but you can't get frustrated. Okay, so part of that is that's why we train on the mental fortitude, which is part of our training. So that way you don't get frustrated. You don't get thrown off. Good salespeople, check this out. And you can write this down too. Good salespeople know the sales process. Who in here knows the sales process? Meet and greet, fact find, whatever your sales process is. Everybody knows the sales process. Great salespeople know where the customer is at in the sales process. Let me explain. When me and Kobe were in the car business, customers would come in and they were at a competing store and they'd be like, I don't need to test drive. I've already seen it. I just want to get the facts and figures. Losers would take them right in the store. They would forget about the car. There would be no value built in the car, and then it's a price war. Me, I'm like, oh, yeah, perfect, man. Here, what we're going to do is just sit in it real quick and get a good feel for it and make sure it's the right one. They're like, okay. And I pull the car up, and I'm like, here, jump in it. And I already know that they're like, I didn't want to drive. Gotcha. And then I'm like, hey, perfect. Here's what we're going to do. We're only going to take it around the parking lot real quick because it's a procedure of ours just to make sure that there's no hiccups in the steering wheel. And they're like, okay. And then next thing you know, they're driving around the block. Next thing you know, I'm like, how's this shit smell? How's this shit doing, dog? Listen, I could have been like everybody else and broke the sales process, but I knew where they were at in the sales process. So that way I could effectively keep them on the process and keep them moving. But I had to know a little word track. I didn't know a little bit of understanding and move them forward. So internalize, you're going to teach that, memorize, and then customize. That's your type of training. Now, we talked about when we first established the rhythm, that was number 1. Number 2, I want you to be coaching for speed and culture. your job as an assistant head coach is for speed and culture. I'm going to break what that means down. So you want to make sure that they're moving forward fast enough. And here's how you're going to do it. You're on the speed side. If they can learn 5 objections and they can take those really seriously, and like literally, Walter, if you can train a few of your guys, all of your guys to learn 5 objections, learn how to shake a fucking hand, learn how to fucking have some smiling eyes, learn how to have a smile. You're working on their mental toughness. So you're sending them a David Goggins video and you're like, hey, we're going to study this one video till you guys can till there's nothing else you should be listening to other than this one David Goggins mental toughness video. That's it. Guys, the starting of our company, we had David Goggins playing on our TV all day, every day, 24 hours a day for the first 2 years. It brainwashed us, okay? You got to give them something to tap into. Walter, the people that you're managing, they're not going to understand personal development. Why? Because most of them don't come from like a personal development. There's my brother. I haven't seen him in a week. Hold on. Let me just stay hard, baby. Give him a hug. Give him stay hard, motherfuckers. So, all right. So you have to think about Walter. How long ago did you discover personal development? Probably not that long ago. Maybe just recently, maybe like 2 years ago. How long?
2 years. I would say maybe like a good solid 2-3 years ago.
All right.
3 years.
Did you guys raise when you guys were 3 years old? Was Ed Milet in your earphones like this? Was he? Oh yeah. Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah. No, dude. We were listening to rap songs and shit. You know, we were over here fucking doing crazy shit, man. We were like listening to Scarface and stuff. You know, I was talking to Steven on that one. You know what I'm saying? You know, he was listening to Scarface as like a 3-year-old. He's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we were listening to shit like that. You know what I mean? We were listening to Nicki Minaj and shit. I don't know. Maybe that was Walter listening to Nicki Minaj. All right. So, Walter, sometimes we don't know how simple some of these things are. They might sound pretty trivial, small, and they're not. So, Walter, for your team, you might want to pick one video on YouTube or in the training system, and you say, hey, we're gonna steal this mindset and feed it into our brains. It's the only thing we're gonna listen to. You're gonna send me notes on this, and in the meeting, we're gonna review them. Okay. So that sounds simple, guys, but I'm telling you, if you just took what I just said, that's gonna help them go faster. What's our goal? Speed. Well, how do we move them out of that? Breakthroughs. We're a breakthrough coach. How do we get breakthroughs? We have to give them new information. How do we get breakthroughs? We have to be experiencing them ourselves. So how much are you studying? How much are you growing? You can't give them something that you're not. So you have to be like, you have to be 5 times more obsessed than them. You have to be growing 5 times faster than them, because the speed of the leader is the speed of the ship. So if Pablo is on a different team than Walter, and Pablo's team is moving faster than Walter, they have the same people. It doesn't matter. It's just Pablo probably wants it more than Walter. Pablo has probably grown more than Walter. Pablo probably knows how to communicate better. Walter probably, like, there's a difference. Like in the SEAL teams, they had their Jocko, they tell that story that there was 8 boats, and this one boat in boat number 8 kept getting their ass kicked every round. And when you get your ass kicked in these rounds, you have to continue running for like the whole day. Well, and I don't know if that's exactly the little granular things of it, but I know this. I know that they switched boat crew leaders, and that boat crew 8 became boat crew number 1 in the first race. And it taught Jocko something about leadership. The speed of the leader is the speed of the ship. It's not the speed of JP or Dion. It's the speed of who's ever in running that little culture organization is going to be the needle mover. On culture, teams fall apart because of culture, or they stay together because of culture. You're coaching speed, you're coaching breakthroughs, and you're coaching culture. In my opinion, there's nothing else you're really coaching. Processes are done from the top, and you're implementing some processes, yeah. But if you can just simplify shit, then you're coaching on those things. Now, culture is not built inside of the office. You guys do a lot of good culture building activities, but some of the culture building activities aren't what you think they are. Some of them are just suffering together. I want to ask your management team, how often do you guys work out together? Like hard, like you're going to a HIIT class and you guys are getting destroyed. Suffering together, running on the side of the road when it's hot. Kobe, what time does the team run every day?
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock. How hot is it at 5 o'clock?
Very fucking hot.
Very fucking hot. Is it ever easier? Not really. Sucks every time, but we build culture that way. But also, I want you to write these three things down. You might do this exercise. Everybody do this exercise when we get off of this call. And it could be at your next team meeting. Don't just get off this call and just do it right away. Just digest it. Just like an objection, internalize it and customize it to your own. I want you to give every piece of person a paper, and I want you to have on the paper already something printed off. And it could be like this. What can I help you with? What are 3 things? What are 3 areas that you need the most help in your life? What is your vision of yourself over the next 30 days? And how can I support this? Not the company. I want this to be a leader to team member specific goal. I'll go back over that.
Go. So the first one was what
can I help you with? What can I help you with? Not Velez. What can I help you with? Me and Pablo to my direct report. Mm-hmm. Dion can do this with Pablo because Dion, if you came over to Pablo and you said, hey, what can I help you with? There might be some things he doesn't know. And if he gives you some little bitch ass piece of paper back that's like, you can help me do something that's small. You're like, bro, come on, man. I'm talking about big shit, bro. I'm talking about big shit. What can I help you with? Like, what's the real shit? Like, don't give me some bullshit. Give me what's on your heart, bro. Let's trust each other. I got you. No matter what you say, no matter what it is, I'm with you. And if it pisses you off, good, man. He should write something that you like, you're honestly like, you go to JP on and you're like, damn, dude, I think we dropped the ball here, man. And I'm embarrassed because he wrote this and we should have handled that. Like, I'm talking about shit like that. Like if they write, yeah, I just want to learn how to be on time to work. You're like, dude, that's not it. Okay. All right. So what can I help you with? What are 3 areas in your life that I can help you with that you need the most? Like, what are 3 areas that I can help you with that you need the most help in? So like, he might say like, dude, me and my wife are struggling or something. Okay. Breakthrough coach, your job might be to go sit with them. I know that shit's hard. You might go sit with them and you might have done a bad job of painting the picture. Work could be their problem. And his wife might just not be on the same mission as him. She might not understand. You know, he might be young to a relationship and you might have to find somebody to coach him. You might have to get Andy. You might have to get me. You might have to reach out to your resources. If you're not married and you don't know what that's like, shit, man. I mean, my mom was fighting with my fucking wife this morning and the other wife and like over some stupid shit. You know what I mean? I'm like, damn, I called Jackie. I'm like, what do I do here? They're arguing about it and she's coaching me, right? You know, but like, because she asked me that one time, I know she can help me with that, right? And everybody's going to go through different things with each other. So you got to be able to coach them through that. The next one, what is your vision of yourself over the next 90 days? How can I support this vision?
90 days revolution.
What's your vision over the next 90 days? What's your vision over the next 90 days? How can I support this vision? What's your biggest, and the next one, what's your biggest strength? Because sometimes it's not about struggling. If he has a strength, I might want him to teach the class his strength. I might want to include a 5-minute meeting from him where I'm like, hey, tomorrow you're going to teach that strength. I feel like that's lacking in our team. And our goal as a team leader is just awareness. And it sucks because a lot of the time we're not aware of shit, or we're not aware of these little areas. And then we get a little bit like, damn, man, I should have known that. Dude, that's going to be your whole life. You got to just have a different relationship with awareness. You got to be like, there's a lot of shit that I don't know. And it's no big deal. But what's your biggest strength? You know, because it's not about just weaknesses. Hey, Pablo, if I have a guy that's like, he's really good at connecting with people, I might say, hey, can you break down 2 things that we can practice tomorrow in our meeting? And I want you to lead it. A lot of people will break through because of responsibility. When they have somebody counting on them, they won't let them down. But when they're just counting on themselves, they'll let themselves down. So you might need to say, hey, I'm going to introduce you to another level of responsibility. Oh, you're really good at that? Okay, I'm going to have you take somebody on the doors and demonstrate that. This new guy, that's his weakness. That's your strength. We're going to have you teach that. So what you can do after you have a role play session, you're like, hey, guys, before we leave, I want you guys to write this down. And then I want you guys to turn these into me. And then if you see something on that paper that's total bullshit, call that person and say, hey, bro, It's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for what you're really struggling with. I'm looking for what's really going on with you. I want you to read pages 30, 31, and 32. And it's going to talk a lot about how you present. It's going to talk a lot about role playing. It's going to talk a lot about how you're coaching. And then I want you to go back through these notes of be the rhythm maker. Be the person that establishes the rhythm in the company. The rhythm could be with their families. The rhythm could be, with sitting with them and going back over these things. If somebody gives you these questions and it says, hey, Pablo, I struggle with confidence. How are you going to coach them to break through on confidence? Pablo, you might not know the answer. You might have to Google. You might have to YouTube. You might have to text me. Ian, this guy says he's struggling with this. I don't even know what that is. And if I know it, I'll help you. Or we figure it out together. And then we go do some research. Because if we can help that person with that one breakthrough, if we solve that problem for them, you know what happens, Pablo? They're with you for life. That feeds the culture. Them breaking through problems feeds the culture. It's not all just about sales. Actually, most of it isn't about sales. Yeah, we want to practice word tracks. Yeah, we want to practice these things in front of each other. That is a lot to do with sales. But speed is built in culture, and culture is built in speed. They go hand in hand. They're married together. And so, like, if you can build the culture, you're going to build the speed. If you can build the speed, you're going to build the culture. You build the speed by building the culture. They go together. They're the same word to me. Harder I build the culture, harder I focus on their problems, more I focus on some of that, good. And by the way, if you ever for 1 second get in a place where you're like, oh, man, fuck, I don't get paid for this. Fuck, I don't want to do this. You're a bitch. That's it, man. Listen, you didn't realize that building this shit was going to be 20 times harder than you ever expected. Every time I've gotten into something, it's always 15 times harder than I expected. When I got into this company, I almost went bankrupt. And I had to get rid of my old relationship because I knew she wasn't going to support this. She was making my life hell, and I had to choose between one or the other. Then I got in the company, and it was 20 times harder than I expected. Every single little project I take on, 20 times harder than I expect. My expectation is, because I've learned through hard work, that it's never what it seems like. You're going to go open that app, JP, it's 20 times harder than you expect. You're going to hire a salesperson, it's 20 times harder than you expect. Start welcoming it. Start welcoming it. Never get in the mind frame where you're like, fuck, man, I don't want to help these people. Fuck, man, he's a loser. No, dude, listen. God called you to be a leader, to shepherd the people, to show them how to grow. Is it going to be hard? Fucking, it might be a little challenging, but hard is a strong word. Challenging is like, I get to go sit with this guy and teach him how to do life. Challenging is like, I'm going to become a better person at this. Challenging has become like, hey, dude, if I can do this really well with 30 people, I'm going to have 300 people under me. One day I'm going to be making $500,000 a month. Yeah. You can do that. It's all your perspective. What you see and what you don't see, it's all up to you, and it's all how you're growing. If you see this company as having 5,000 reps and you're going to be the one leading 4,000 of them because you're the badass spending all the time on this, you're growing, you're getting abs like Paulo's saying, you're going nuts, you can't fucking sleep at night, you're growing the people, you're spending the times on the problems, you're knocking the fucking doors, you're exhausted, then you know you're in the right place. If you go to sleep and you're sleep rested and you're not dreaming about this shit every night, then you're probably not in the right business. But I have a feeling that we're all on that same mission and we're all seeing the same things. And because we're all seeing the same things, we're inevitably going to get there very fast. And it's going to happen. Now, very fast to make $100 million company, I mean, it could happen in a year. It could happen in 4 years. It could happen in 5 years. It all depends on how good you guys are building the people behind the scenes. Now, we're going to inspire you, give you some tips and tricks, but then it's going to be how fucking crazy is Pablo? How crazy is Noel? How crazy is Walter? And I've shared with you guys the stories of like that company here that's the number one in the world when that guy started. Trust me, you guys have met him. Is he any different than you guys? No. But I tell you, that motherfucker is good at building people. I mean, he has the lowest churn rate of employees in the industry. You know why? Because he has probably the best culture in the industry. We can all say we got good culture. He's got better culture than probably we do. We know him. He's got great culture, dude. He's built it. And he built it in about probably 2 years. And then his next 2 years, like I'm watching it. You know, you guys know Solar Pros. Yeah. Bro, but for 2 years, he built that culture and built that understanding and built that mindset. And then now it just feeds itself. And those guys that were on the ground floor with him that did a really good job. I mean, managing 2,000 people is a lot easier than managing 20, in my opinion. 20 takes a lot of hard work. But once you build 20 leaders to manage 2,000 people, not that hard. Then it becomes a process and automation and technology game, which you guys are figuring it out. Then it becomes fulfillment and customer service. That's it. We can stick somebody in this system and it's plug and play and they go out into the world and they win. It's not that hard. Right now, I want to challenge you to do some of these things, grow in some of these areas, set the rhythm of the company, set the agenda going into the meeting, set the role play going into the meeting, start making sure that they know that they're getting tested, make the training fun, make it intense. What are you feeding their brains? Make sure you have something that you're feeding their brains. And if you can just focus on just that, that's $100 million tip. Like it for real is. It's the sauce. But here's the deal. When you don't want to do it, that's when you got to do it. When you see somebody struggling, you can make fun of them, or you could maybe not even intervene, or maybe you're too tired to deal with it. That's when you got to do it. When you're struggling the most and you don't got time for other people, that's when you got to do it. That's when you got to do it. If you ever feel helpless, like you're feeling down on yourself, just get helpful. Just get helpful, dude. Just get helpful. Just go find the most struggling guy and fucking pour into him, and not make it about somebody else. And you'll remember how good you are at what you do. It'll make you realize like how good of a life you have. So thank you guys. Let's just keep it at that. And then I'll see you guys next week or whenever we got scheduled. We'll kill it. We'll crush it. And I love building with you guys. I love growing with you guys. I love seeing you guys hit new gears. And I can't wait till this is a household freaking Velez name. And it's going to happen, man. Because you guys,
Let's go.
you guys.
Okay, bro. Let's go.
Later, guys.
That shit was fire, bro.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, bro.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you guys.
Appreciate that, bro. That was awesome.
You guys make it easy because you guys actually want to grow and want to learn, and half the world doesn't want to do that. That's why you guys are unique. So this shit's easy talking to you guys. Thank you.